Yeah.
Carly called me yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And she was sharing with me how she hates being a mother.
Really?
Her demanding children.
Being a mother, Debs, it's really hard work.
She said she struggles with meeting their needs, the never-ending housework, the noise, the mess, and how hard it is to put order back in the house every time she comes home from work.
I bet she also said it's an impossible task to deal with her constant emotional demands as well.
She says she feels guilty for not spending enough time with them.
Yep.
And although she loves her children, she's dissatisfied and disillusioned with being a mother. Can you just put your ironing down and listen to me?
Okay. Listen, Debs, you being the eternal mother archetypal figure, of course.
Yes, the mother archetype. A term to use to describe the idealised version of how a mother should be.
Listen, mothers are expected to form intense emotional bonds with their children and still make sure that they grow up strong, healthy, emotionally resilient, and appropriately socialised.
The mother archetype represents what humans want and yearn for in a mother. They want the mother to be happy and always have a content disposition whilst meeting all of their demands that their children make.
So, can you give me an example of a typical good mother archetype then, Debs?
Well, there are many good mother archetypes, besides me, of course. And these are represented in films such as Mrs. Weasley in Harry Potter.
You've got Catelyn Stark and Daenerys Targaryen, the mother of dragons from the Game of Thrones.
And in tales such as The Fairy Godmother in Cinderella, there's Mary Poppins, and Mrs. Scribbles in Monsters University are also characterised as good mother archetypes.
Yeah, they're good fun. The good mother archetype is a very loving, caring mother figure that represents everything feminine and is larger than life. They are guaranteed to be supportive and to be a constant holding presence and indulges you with tender moments.
What do you mean, tender moments?
What I mean is that a good mother is affectionate. She provides hugs, kisses, and shows her delight in spending time with her child for just who they are, not for what they do.
However, the mother archetype also carries a lot of pressure. Mothers are pulled between meeting their own needs and the needs of their children. It seems that Carly's torn between loving and hating her children, and this is a common but often an unspoken dilemma. Although she loves her children, she's experiencing what we call the shadow side of the mother archetype, like Mother Gothel in the film Tangled.
Yeah, you've got Cersei Lannister, again, in the Game of Thrones.
Or in the film Savage Grace, where Julianne Moore plays the mother. These kind of mothers are emotionally and physically abandons their children. Okay, she's neglectful, hostile, controlling, she's self-absorbed, critical, and emotionally and physically abusive.
Listen, Debs, it's not that Kylie is doing this. It's just how she feels at times. And yes, there are mothers who are cruel, neglectful, indifferent, and who display a whole range of negative behaviours for all sorts of reasons. So not all mothers are good. There are bad mothers there too. But it is in a woman's DNA to have the instinct to provide for her child. This is hardwired in our human biology.
So we must remember, mothers are merely human beings, and they are perfectly imperfect. Being a mother does not require a woman to be superhuman. As far as I'm aware, no woman in our universe is a perfect mother. Yeah?
Yeah, you're right, Debs. Because from our professional experience, many mothers tell us they feel guilty for not spending enough time with their children and try to compensate in other ways. They regret losing their temper or losing control. And what we see is that most mothers try to do their best with what they have and with what they know, given their own experience of being mothered. There are very few mothers who consciously intend to harm their children in a perverse way.
And depending on a woman's experience of being mothered will contribute to what sort of mother she experiences herself to be. That, of course, if she ever becomes one. But if a woman is psychologically well adjusted herself, she will be what the paediatrician and psychoanalyst Donald Winnicott termed as the good enough mother.
Yeah.
He says a mother is neither good nor bad, nor the product of illusion, but a separate and independent entity. A good enough mother starts off with an almost complete adaptation to her infant's needs, and as time proceeds, she adapts less and less completely and gradually, according to the infant's growing ability to deal with her failure.
Yeah, because the mother's failure to adapt to every need of the child helps the child to adapt to the reality of the outside world.
Otherwise, you get the smother mother syndrome, and that's not good either.
Yeah. So if a woman had a deeply troubled relationship with her own mother, this will impact her confidence and ability of trusting her own instincts and her own mothering skills. And she's likely to believe that she's a bad mother. So let's look at this from an object relations perspective.
That's a good idea, yes. Object relations is a theory in psychoanalytic psychology. It's about the process of developing a sense of self in relation to others during childhood. This theory suggests that the way people relate to others and situations when they grow up is determined by their experiences in their family when they were little.
So when a baby is born, it doesn't know that it's separate from its mother. Therefore, the baby will internalize the image of its mother. This internalization of the mother, along with her positive and negative emotions, will be carried forward into their adulthood. This will then impact and influence all subsequent interactions and relationships through repeated patterns of behavior from the original experience with the mother.
This is why us mums tend to get the blame for everything.
Yep.
Well, we know Carly's mum.
Yeah.
And I would suggest that the reason why Carly's struggling is that her mum was constantly juggling and trying to balance being a mum and a high-powered businesswoman when Carly was just an infant.
Yeah, I suppose that's why Kylie's experience of neglect and abandonment by her own mother in infancy has been internalized. So we would expect that Kylie now draws on that experience of her internalized mother, which now makes mothering her own children difficult to manage.
Yeah, she shared this with me on many occasions, and she said she feels inadequate, overwhelmed, and racked with guilt. You know, parenting is not an impossible task for Kylie, though, because she can be a mother that's good enough, yeah? The way that most mothers are.
A good example is Gadriel, the mother of Middle-earth from The Lord of the Rings, and characterised both good and bad mother in a very archetypical way. I'd recommend watching this.
So whether you have or had a loving, attuned, nurturing mother, or a withdrawn, depressed and emotionally unavailable mother, deep inside will always be a part of you that has the potential to love her for good or ill, for they know not what they do.
So Debs, in the words of Abraham Lincoln, all that I am or hope to be, I owe to my mother. Or in the words of Riz, behind every successful woman is a basket of laundry that needs ironing. So, off you go.
Look, just one thing.
What?
So Matthew, my dear son, you're a grown man now. And if you happen to be watching this, give your mother a break. I'm sorry. I did the best I could.